walking, and then a shot of the thugs walking, and then him walking, and then the thugs walking, and then him walking.
I'm a goofy monster. It was
still worth seeing. I agree, even though it sucks. So in my hand, I've got Monstrosity, your copy of Monstrosity that you actually went through quite a bit of effort to get, because this is a hard film to find by good old writer-director Andy Milligan.
It is hard to find. It's definitely overlooked, right? And it's no budget too. So it's overlooked and no budget. So however you got to this video, it's both those things.
Yeah. Yes. So since a lot of people probably have not seen this film, a quick summary is a girl gets attacked by these street thugs and she ends up in the hospital. When she's in the hospital, she's still alive, of course. So the street thug comes and kills her in the hospital. Spoiler alert, the girl dies. So her boyfriend gets together with a couple of his friends and they decide to make a golem or Frankenstein monster or whatever you want to be. And the idea is they build him to go and kill the street thugs. And that's the first half of the movie. And then the second half of the movie is kind of a love story between Frankie, the golem, and some girl that he meets. That sound about right?
Yeah, it just kind of changes up right in the middle.
Yeah, I think it had. I think since he must have been just kind of making this up as he went along and realized he just didn't have enough for a feature length film. So it's kind of like, oh well, let's add this secondary story, because the primary thing, which is dealing with the street thugs, is resolved halfway through the film. Like that's not a storyline anymore. It's literally a completely different story.
Well, yeah, and the tone kind of changes too. I think they were trying to make kind of a serious movie, and then all of a sudden it's this weird romantic comedy or something.
Yeah, totally.
You know what you're getting into. Like the first scene, though, it like cuts in different parts of LA and Hollywood with all these different colors of film, and you're just like, whoa. And then it goes to this old man. I thought it was going to be about the old man or something, because he's buying something from this lady, the shopkeeper, and they're speaking in Spanish for like 5 minutes. So you know you're going to have a movie with very long scenes of people talking about nothing.
Oh man, there's so many long scenes in this. Like it just goes on and on. You're like, this scene just lasted for 10 minutes and it was literally just them talking.
Yeah, and then the old man starts walking and he's walking for another 10 minutes.
And then the shot of him walking, and then a shot of the thugs walking, and then him walking, and then the thugs walking, and then him walking, and then the thugs walking.
Forever. But then they finally meet after all that time, and the thugs cut his neck, and that's it. Boom.
End of scene.
Half a second of like, oh, and then boom, cut to the next scene.
Yeah.
So all the like killing and action, that happens quick. But the talking and the walking, you're gonna get a lot of that. So if you like walking and talking, this is the movie for you.
Yeah. What's funny about it too is like with the dialogue, you get the vibe that maybe some of it was just kind of made up, and it's like, oh, stretch the scene out, just keep talking
about nothing.
Just keep talking. And it's like, okay, I guess we'll talk about this, Andy Milligan. Sure.
Yeah, like when they finally get to the girlfriend, and the guy, the boyfriend, and he's walking her to her house, and they're just I don't know what they're talking. It's like Seinfeld. They're talking about nothing for 10 minutes outside her house. Blah blah blah. And then she finally goes up to the room, and there's some creepy guy hanging out in front, and the boyfriend just leaves.
Yeah, I know, totally.
But then he comes back and he's like, hey, what are you doing here? And the guy goes off. And you'd think he'd go maybe check on her, since there's this creepy guy hanging outside her place. But he's like, nah, I think she's all right. Screw it.
Knock on the door real quick and be like, everything okay in there?
Yeah. And then again, the whole like beat up scene, she's all scared and screaming for 10 minutes. And then when finally like kills her, it's like 1 second, cut away.
Yeah, we kind of hinted on this, the dialogue, the ways, and there's these long pauses too. There's a moment with the detective and he's talking to the girl, and she says something about like, I'm a painter. And then there's this massive long pause. And the guy's like, oh yeah, my daughter's a painter too, or something like that, And it's just like, why is this massive long pause there? Like that makes no sense whatsoever.
Yeah, they're just staring at each other for 15 seconds.
Okay, that's good news.
Yeah. And the hospital room is in someone's house, like Neil Breen style.
Oh yeah, this is clearly a room in a house. And to my understanding, because I actually talked to the guy that did the special effects makeup on my Unemployed Actor podcast, and he said that most of this was actually filmed at Andy Milligan's house that he was renting at the time. And you can tell.
Yeah, you can tell, right?
Yeah. It's like, okay, we're going to use this room for the hospital room. This room obviously is going to be the living room of the guys' house. We got a shed out back. That's where we'll create Frankie at. Perfect. And then we'll just shoot it a bit around here a little bit.
Yeah, it looks like a college film.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I like that the dialogue is really like, I said my line, and then they wait. Okay, you say your line. I've said my line. I said my line. It's very that way. You could tell they remember their lines and they're chucking it out one after the other.
Yeah.
Dialogue. Yeah. They're doing that dialogue like line by line, man.
Yeah. And it's funny, you can tell that they only had like one sound guy working on this as well, because there'd be the one person and the camera's nice and close. So the boom's obviously in close to the person. So the sound's really good. And then there's like a wider shot, and the boom would have to be a little farther away, and the sound is not very good. And Andy Milligan must have just been like, okay, well, let's just get the shot. We can't do a close up of the same thing and get good sound, or we can't, record it later as ADR or something like that. So the sound jumps around as well. Like suddenly it's an echoey sound. Suddenly it's nice and close, and it goes with whatever the shot is, wherever he moves the camera to as well, as a way to kind of save on film, I'm guessing.
Yeah. Yeah, the hospital scene was so long because the punk who's disguised as the doctor, he's just like for a while like walking around, and she's like looking at a book, try to see who the bad guy is, the profiles book. And they got a bottle of hydrogen peroxide there. I don't know if you noticed that. You're in a hospital now because look, I got a big brown bottle of 80s style hydrogen peroxide your mom used to have. Yep. Man, you're good to go, girl.
Pulled it out of the cabinet in the bathroom of the house they were filming in. Be like, hey, put this in there. That makes it look like a hospital.
It's medicine. Yeah. It's a hospital. But finally, he's like, yeah, I'm the bad guy. And like nobody puts any struggle up. Have you noticed this about this movie? Because I guess you wouldn't want to mess up the special effects. So he like cuts her abdomen and she's like, oh no,
I'm dead now.
What can I possibly do? He's slowly cutting my abdomen open. I guess I'm screwed.
Uh-oh, I'm going to die now. You can tell.
He pulls out her guts and I'm like, that doesn't look like human guts though. Like if that's your guts, man. Girl, you had problems. You should have been in the hospital a long time ago.
It was probably the same guts that they used when they were building Frankie, because they had the really long scene of like the montage of building him. And at one point they're putting guts into him. And
it's probably the same guts.
Let's use those same guts that we used to bring out of the girl, and we'll put those in him. Yeah, that's good. Okay. And then do it just for a really long time. And then cut to a shot of the clock. And then cut to them sewing something iron.
Care Bears clock, man. The Care Bears clock had some kind of symbolic meaning. That Care Bears clock.
That's how we're showing the progression of time. Let's cut to the clock and then cut. And it's like, no, we get the progression of time because this montage is taking way too long.
Yeah, it's not even a montage. Like it's real time.
Mm-hmm.
Like when the guy finally kills her, he's like puts all the stuff. He's like cleaning up, and another 10 minutes of him just like making sure. Like the scene is all cleaned up and everything.
Yeah, that's nice. Oh, and just the bit where the guys come up with the idea for the golem. So there's 3 guys there, right? And one of them's like, hey, I read about this in one of my classes where these people, they built a golem out of, and the other 2 guys are like, oh yeah, let's do that. This will totally work. Like at no point in time, there's a question of like, well, that wouldn't work. That doesn't make any sense at all. This is real life. And it's like, no, we're just all going to do this and it'll work. And let's go get some, gorilla arm parts. You get access to some body parts in a morgue because you have those connections. Let's go get some of those. Yeah. And we'll just sew them all together.
I happen to be a medical student, so I got like cadavers all over the place.
Because nobody will notice
you have
a few
a friend
missing
who's
parts.
a veterinarian, like it all lined up perfectly. You can get like body parts and stuff, right? They're like, cool, let's just go do it.
Yeah.
And that's that, man. I guess in this world, man, it's pretty common.
Yeah. Easy enough. All right. That's handy.
Yeah. They go to make the golem. They put on these yellow gloves.
Oh yeah. The house cleaning gloves.
And they're doing it. But then like there's another scene when their gloves are off and they're doing it. And then the scene after that, their gloves are on. It's like, what? Did you put the gloves on or not, guys? Jeez.
So many continuity errors. And I think it has to do with the way Andy Milligan filmed. So I was told that one of the things he would do is he basically would just set the camera and he'd had a tripod, like an old wooden tripod. And he would basically be shooting a sequence. And then he would basically tell everybody, okay, freeze. And now then he would move the tripod, the camera to a different location. And then he'd be like, okay, continue the scene. And then, so he shot in that kind of order. And that's a lot of why I bet you there's a lot of these long pauses and weird cuts and stuff. Cause it's like, okay, freeze, don't move. I'm going to move the camera over here. Okay, now go again. Versus like what a normal filmmaker would do, they would, shoot the whole scene from one place, move it, shoot the whole scene, and then edit it together.
That makes sense now though.
Mm-hmm.
That looks like that's what he was doing.
You can clearly tell.
Yeah, they're making the golem in like they're working on one of the parts, which is like obviously a roast beef. They probably got on manager's special at the grocery store.
Yeah. You got anything that's expiring? All right, we'll take that.
And then they make Frankie, they call him Frankie, and he's a golem, which is like a Jewish monster. So of course they give him the big red fro, the curly red fro.
Yeah. Let's give him this curly hair.
He's a Jewish monster. Then the whole thing changes once Frankie comes alive. Like it started out kind of serious, but then all of a sudden he's like this goofy monster, like I'm a goofy monster. The tone changed completely. Like now it's this kind of goofy, I don't know, horror comedy. It used to be like kind of, it was kind of the serious like murder thing going on, but now it's like a goofy comedy.
Yeah. But he does the job. He kills the bad guys. And what's great too is then they introduce this girl that they meet that he basically in the process of taking out one of the bad guys saves this girl. And she kind of becomes a secret girlfriend, but he doesn't want to tell the three main guys that she's his girlfriend for some reason, because he's worried that, I don't know, they'll take her away or something. So they keep her hidden. And then they introduce an angel, a guardian angel for the girl, by the way. It's the girl's guardian angel who's clearly doing a very bad job at it because, she wasn't doing too well prior to this moment in her life. And now she's dating basically a Frankenstein monster. And so
it was like, Angelo, right? The guardian angel,
Angelo. Get it? Angelo. And he's like the only person that really went on to have a career, by the way, Joel Weiss. So he actually did quite a bit of stuff after this.
Well, good for him.
Yeah. He was in another 48 Hours, Congo, a few other movies and stuff. Yeah.
It's funny because Angelo, the guardian angel, he was an aborted baby. He never got to live. He was aborted. So we I guess we get their stance. So we're anti-Semitic and pro-life. That's how we're rolling in this movie.
Why is he wearing like a fighter pilot hat? If he was an aborted baby, that doesn't make any sense. His costume makes no sense.
Maybe he would have been a pilot.
Oh, if he had lived.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess that makes sense. Sure.
Yeah. So it got weird. And his girlfriend, she's pretty annoying, bro. I'm sorry. So basically he saves her from the gang that was killing the other. She was part of another gang that the bad gang was killing that gang. And they're a bunch of drug addicts or something. But she wants to go straight now that she's with Frankie, the Frankenstein golem monster.
Makes sense. Sure. There's a future there.
Yep. But she's got this kind of Cyndi Lauper accent going on.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you're so sweet. Oh, I love you so much, my monster.
And so that the guys find out, they don't like it, right? They're like, hey, you're our vengeance golem. this chick's gonna totally like distract you from your duties, bro. So one of the guys, he wants to, he's like, hey, you want some drugs? She's like, no, I shouldn't. I'm with Frankie the monster now. He's like, come on, just a little bit. Turns out,
okay. I like
but turns out it was like poisoned, right? So Frankie gets pissed and he goes off on he goes on a little vengeance thing. I gotta back up a little bit. That girlfriend, her name, the character's name was Jamie Lee Curtis Wachowski.
Her father is a fan of Halloween, Jamie Lee Curtis, but that film actually didn't come out till after this takes place or something. There's like something wrong with that storyline, actually, that piece of information. Did you know that?
What is it?
So if I remember correctly, so this movie came out in 1987.
1987?
Right.
Uh-huh.
So this girl is probably what, early 20s?
Well, her character is is trying. She looks like a woman our age trying to be in her 20s.
All right. Well, let's say hypothetically she's 22. That means she would have had to been born in what, 60, early 60, right? But Halloween, the movie that Jamie Lee Curtis was in, didn't come out till 78. So this girl would not have been born when the movie came out that she got her name from.
Well, even if she's in her 40s, man,
like
she probably
it doesn't matter.
In real life. It just doesn't add up.
Yeah, she would have been like 6 in this film.
Then she's supposed to be like just still a kid in 1987, if that's the case.
Exactly. So, because I think Halloween came out, I want to say 78, but I could be wrong on that. Maybe
something like that.
Yeah, mid to late 70s, and this came out roughly 10 years later. So that girl would have had to been.
She'd be like 10 years old.
Exactly. The girl would have had to been under 10 years old.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah. So it doesn't work. That doesn't work at all.
Yeah, but she got poisoned and Frankie got ticked. So then Night on Bald Mountain starts playing, which is free music because it's like in the public domain. So we could use Night on Bald Mountain.
Yeah. Oh man, we haven't even really mentioned the music because it's got the theme song that he must have spent money on because it's used throughout the entire film of this.
There's like 3 like Casio made kind of music pieces, and they're one of them's like the drum, one of them's like the opening with the funky
Oh, it's
and it's
so
the
bad.
same. It's kind of like Star Trek, the animated series, where they just recycle the same soundtrack over and over and over again. It's like it never ends.
Yeah, that was this.
Yeah, Frankie's pissed though. So he goes after the 3 guys because he wants revenge, right? And so one of them has a gun, and it's like one of those kind of military,
machine gun or something like that, right? Like, like where the hell did he get this?
But he doesn't use it. But then he puts it down, and then Frankie's like trying to kill him, and Frankie gets the gun. And he's like, "Oh, I guess I'll use it if you're not going to." And he's killing the dudes who made him.
Yeah, with really bad special effects.
His girlfriend because they didn't want his girlfriend interfering with his vengeance duties.
No,
his vigilante vengeance duties. Then he's done now, right? He doesn't have his girlfriend. He kills his creator, so he's just hanging out on a bench with the homeless chick, having another long conversation
to stretch out the movie.
And it's 1987 because it's like some kind of poster of Ronald Reagan in the back. And so he's talking with I guess that's his life now. He's just going to be like a homeless golem hanging out with the homeless lady. And that's it. And then it pans up. And then that's a wrap. And it comes down and the whole crew comes out.
I
and
know,
the guy's
that
like,
part was so
and it's
dumb.
like, oh, it was just a movie the whole time.
Oh man, I didn't know. Like, I wonder if they just saw like Monty Python and the Holy Grail, and they were like, "Oh, that was cool at the end of the Holy Grail, where like they just come into real world and end the film and stuff like that. That was so funny when they did it in that. We should do that in our film." It's like, no, it doesn't work.
It doesn't work in your film because you're just barely a sliver above the real world. Especially with your cheap film.
Oh, the film stock?
Yeah, you were telling me like how they probably use like cheap little and
Yeah.
bits of film.
So what they would do is to save money, because this is back in the days when film costs a lot of money. And so major productions, let's say a roll of film has like 10 minutes that you can shoot on it before it's out of film. And I don't know what the actual number it is, but it's not very much. But let's say you're shooting a scene and you shoot like 8 minutes, right? And then on the major production, they swaps rolls. So there's like 2 minutes of film left available. And so when that gets sent back to the manufacturer, Kodak or whoever, they can then resell those ends to filmmakers like Andy Milligan to use in his film. So he might get 2 minutes here, a minute here, maybe 3 minutes over here, and he just shoots all those in little bits. But since it's different film, it looks a little different. So that's why you have these moments where like it's the scene and it's like, okay, well that really the color looks very different here all of a sudden, because he shot it on film ends.
Yeah. Like burnt ends on a steak or something.
Yep.
And he even had that day night thing going on like Ed Wood did. I remember that one of the scenes was the Gollum guy leaves and he opens the door from the shed and it's daytime. And then you have the long scene of Jamie Lee Curtis, Wachowski looking at books, roaming around, looking at books, looking at things for like 10 minutes. And then finally the angry creator guy comes in and it's night. He comes in and it's nighttime. It's like she was wandering around reading that book for maybe like 6 hours or something.
Long time reading that book. You got to pad that runtime, man. It needs to be roughly a little over 90 minutes to be considered a feature film. And this is 1 hour and 32 minutes. So he's like, got to stretch it out. That's probably why you put that end scene in too. He's like, okay, we still don't have enough time. So let's just have this bit where everybody comes in and it's a film. That'll give us another minute.
It's not for your movie, dude. So what do you think? Yay or nay?
I'm going to have to go. It's a hard one because I do appreciate this for what it is, which is exceptionally low budget, half-assed. Yeah, basically Ed Wood School of Filmmaking. So I'm leaning towards a nay, though. Though it's hard. It's hard to say that, but I'm going to have to go with nay on it.
Yeah, I'm going to have to give it a nay too, mainly because there's really two types of enjoyable bad movies. There's the bad movies where you could tell they weren't trying to make a bad movie. Like they were really trying to make a legit movie, but it's just bad. That's like the Troll 2s or the Rooms or even the Neil Breens where they're trying, like they think they make good movies, right? Then you have the so bad they know they're bad, but they're kind of fun, like Attack of Killer Tomatoes or Killer Clowns or even the Troma movies, right? The Toxic Avengers. I think this is trying to be a Troma movie. I think it's trying to be a Toxic Avenger, kind of funny, but still gross and rated R. I think it's trying to be a Troma movie, but it just fails in that. So I'm with you. I want to appreciate it. I want to like it, but I'm gonna have to get thumbs down just because the worst thing you can do is be boring. And the long scenes of people doing nothing and talking about nothing made it hard. So
yeah,
I wouldn't suggest watching this, but if you want to, let me know because I probably have. We probably have the only
DVD
one of the only copies in existence.
Yeah, really.
That's gold, baby.
Oh yeah, and it came with another movie that we're going to have to do at a later date called Grave Robbers. Who I don't think Andy Milligan did Grave Robbers. I think that's just by the same production company. I could be wrong.
Never heard of it, but we gotta review it because
we haven't.
I've never heard of it. It's overlooked. Completely overlooked because we've never heard of it. So we will review it.
Yep. We're all about the overlooked films here.
Yeah. Hey, that was still worth it, even though it was painful. It was worth it.
It was still worth seeing. I agree. Even though it sucks.